So hi, yeah, this is part three of the interview with Rory Lamont, ex-professional rugby player. In this one, we go on to talk about various things like Kambo, like other integrative practices, other forms of healing that that we can combine with work with plant medicines to really create a really powerful kind of toolkit to kind of help us with whether it be past injury, trauma, the way we feel about ourselves today, you name it. Plant medicines have an amazing part to play in this. So part three of the interview with Rory Lamont is going to be great. Sure. I guess with Joe Rogan and people like Aubrey Marcus, and whatever I felt about Aubrey Marcus at the time, he definitely has. Obviously, he touched you very profoundly, and he has had an amazing impact, globally with the message he's been putting out there. Kambo, interesting one, because that's something that I've never experienced myself. I met some people who have experienced it, and I, from what they told me, I was like, I think I'll give that a miss. But the more I kind of hear about it, the more I'm really intrigued about it. What's your kind of experience with Kambo? Is it legal here?
It's legal. Well, it's not criminalized, so it's unregulated, I think is the correct term. But so it's absolutely fine to do Kambo ceremonies in the UK. I've actually just completed my practitioner training with the IAKP, so International Association of Kambo Practitioners. So yeah, I've been working extensively with Kambo for the last couple of years because I was struggling. There was still physical. I was still dealing with a lot of physical symptoms that had been unresolved from diet, from like clean living, that had been unresolved from working with ayahuasca, Iboga, psilocybin mushrooms, and a couple of people who had worked with Kambo on different occasions had approached me and mentioned, you should see if Kambo can resolve your symptoms that you're dealing with. And I tend to listen when I've got a couple of people saying the same thing over a very short space of time. I kind of feel like there's something in it to be learned. So I had my first Kambo ceremony, and it was, I'd heard a lot about it, how intense it was, and I was really apprehensive, but it's intense. Kambo was an intense experience, but people, sometimes the stories are like blown out of proportion, and it's a very short ceremony. It's less than an hour long. But now what I've learned about Kambo is, while it can absolutely resolve like emotional issues exceedingly well, like the indigenous call it panema, where there's this sort of depression, a fog, like a heavy cloud, grey dark cloud. They call it panema, and they say the Kambo resolves panema. So it works absolutely on psychological, emotional levels, but it's a phenomenally powerful physical detoxification. It removes toxins, long stored toxins from the body, from the liver. It's got a range of bioactive peptides, which means these peptides in Kambo fit our cells. So it's like they're made for the cells of our body. They unlock these receptor sites so that toxins can leave the cells in the body and get flushed out. And of course, they come out in a purge. But Kambo's, you have to be careful with what I claim about Kambo, but there are lots of people that have been able to relieve and heal their physical symptoms, their illnesses. So it's a really, really beautiful medicine. And that's why I did my practitioner training. It had such a profound effect on myself, on not just the physical, but obviously I was looking for the physical.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like being really powerful on my mind and emotions.
Amazing. No, it's something that I'm really, really interested in trying out. Maybe we'll get, if you're offering it as a.
It would be an honour to serve Kambo to you if you feel the call for it.
No, I absolutely do. I mean, there's never been a time, well, in my life where health and mental health and the understanding that mental and physical health are just not separate things. There's never been a kind of a better time to be having this discussion. So just to the uninitiated, Kambo is a toad venom, a frog venom, right?
Frog, yeah. It's
frog,
the
as opposed to the bufo toad venom, which is a completely different experience.
Yeah. So it's the secretions from the giant green monkey tree frog in the Amazon, and so venom isn't really the correct word, although that's how it gets spoken about. It's a secretion. So venom suggests it's a poison, but actually there's nothing in the secretion that is toxic or poisonous. So it's just a secretion. It's not a poison or a venom, but it does cause a strong physical response where it increases your blood pressure, and so you feel hot, and it's quite an intense energy flowing through the body. You just feel hot and like an increase in pressure in the body, and then it will drop your blood pressure after a few minutes, and you can feel in those moments you can feel a little bit faint and maybe a little bit cold. Your color can change, and then the next process will be hopefully after that drop in blood pressure, there'll start to be a nausea, and more than likely there'll be a physical purge. Of course, we under the IAKP training, we use the method where we drink a liter and a half to 2 liters of water before you take the medicine, so that helps bring out the toxins that are being released. But yeah, generally after you've purged, you might purge a few times, but after 30 minutes, your purging's kind of finished, and 40 minutes to an hour, you're back to normal, and you can usually carry on with your day. Sometimes people feel a little bit, drained by it for a little bit longer, but most of the time people are like up on their feet and feeling great either that day or the next day, or so at the most it can take a couple of days where you feel not just back to normal, but usually an increased feeling of vitality and wellness.
Amazing. And I think also it's kind of non-psychedelic insofar as it's not a kind of a visual medicine. It's a very much a bodily medicine. And
that's right.
And that's coming through really strongly from what you're saying, is that, the whole point about these medicines is not to go out and, while it can be nice to have these kind of intergalactic, as I say, experiences, it's very much about a kind of a healing process of kind of an alignment of kind of body and mind, to create a kind of an overall sense of like well-being.
Yeah, that's right. Just Kambo's ability. I mean, all these medicines, but I'm just going to speak about Kambo. It's his ability to bring you back into feeling the very best version of yourself, whether you feel aligned in your body, you feel centered, you feel at peace. We see the world how we feel, and if we feel terrible, the world seems terrible. And Kambo can get you back into a beautiful feeling within yourself, a peace within yourself, and a lifting of the veil, a lifting of the fog, where you see things clearly, and there's a feeling of optimism, and the way you interact with people, you're more tolerant, you're more compassionate. So yeah, Kambo's absolutely not psychoactive at all. There's no visions. It's very physical, emotional. like healing. And yeah, it's really about coming into the truth of who we are, about letting go of all these false beliefs that we hold on to that are affecting the way we participate in the world. It's just about releasing ourselves from that, and that's really what the path of working with these medicines has shown me, that it's about coming home to who you are and feeling at home in your body and in this world, and feeling connected to those around you. So yeah, all the visuals and like out of body experiences there, it's not really, you don't need those on the healing journey.
I mean, as I sort of say to people, you've got to live in this dimension. It's all very well going out and having battles in hyper dimensions, but you got to live in this one, and enjoy that. So I also saw in a previous interview you'd done where you talked about other sort of complementary sort of therapies as well. So you can have your plants, and I also use these as well. But you've got things like cold water, you have things like breath work, meditation, yoga, exercise, and they all form a really powerful suite of tools to be able to live, like you say, our best version of ourselves and live our happiest life. So what else are you? Is it bit of kind of Wim Hof stuff, and then there was another one you talked about which was sauna, I think it was.
Okay, so yeah, there's been a range of different healing tools that I've used aside from the plant medicines, and for me, what has been a really powerful part of my healing is sauna therapy. So I was, utilizing infrared sauna, doing Wim Hof, the breath, so the power of breath work, cold water therapy, hyperbaric oxygen chamber. I bought myself one of those, particularly because it's another powerful healing tool for brain injuries. It's not just brain injuries, pretty much any health condition will be improved by hyperbaric oxygen therapy, but that was the big concern for me. So and the other one that I've also done the certified instructor training for is the Heart Math. So the Heart Math Institute, which is, it's not really, I guess it's a simple way of explaining it. It's a type of meditation, even though they don't call it a meditation, but it's a breathwork technique that has been shown to connect, so to improve the connection between the heart and its neural network. Mm-hmm. The heart has a very powerful neural network that actually influences the brain. So through a specific breathing technique, we can become centered in our heart, and the communication from the heart to the brain increases, and it has this effect of bringing all our systems, our hormonal systems, cardiovascular system, all the systems into balance. And in that balance, we can attain healing of all sorts, emotional and physical. So it's a great way of becoming more resilient to stress. So that's another one that I've used, and actually, this allows me to say that what I've been working on here at my home where I live is creating a retreat space, mm-hmm. For people to come, where we will be going through sauna therapy, hyperbaric oxygen, breath work, cold water, and of course for those who feel the call, if they would like to connect with Kambo as well. So between these therapies that I'm going to be providing here at this home retreat, I believe that pretty much any health condition will absolutely improve, and also that the not just on a physical level, but the emotions that are needing healed, with it, because of course the physical and the emotional are not separate. They're intertwined, deeply connected. So we have to address all aspects. But yeah, those are the tool, and meditation. But the heart math meditation's been a huge one for me.
Right. So when do you anticipate being kind of up and running or are you up and running already?
Well, I mean, I'd hoped to have been up and running at this stage, but because of all the delays with COVID, all the builders have taken time to do the thing and get all the materials. It's taken a bit longer than we would have liked, but I'm hoping in the next couple of months, so maybe spring 2021, will be open to welcome anyone who's looking to receive this healing, to receive these therapies, and help. It'll be an honor to help anyone on their healing journey.
And have you got a name for the place yet, or have you still? Have you got a...
Yeah, well, no. At the moment, there's a few options. I kind of I was looking at maybe Highlands Kayam, which is Kayam's a Celtic it's a prayer. It's basically a creation of a sanctuary of light in dark times. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about calling it Highland Kayam, but yeah, that's absolutely to be finalised. But at the moment, there's if you want to make contact, there's rorylamont.com, where there's just the pre-website where you can just make contact, and we can share with you some of the information that you're looking for, and we'll let you know when we'll be open. So yeah, the name is to be confirmed yet.
All right, awesome. Yeah. Just thinking, is there a history in sort of any literature about mushroom use in Scotland? If you think that there's psilocybin mushrooms growing in Scotland, right?
Yeah, it's I haven't really come across it, but I would bet my life that our ancestors were connecting with these mushrooms. It's always difficult to know because we don't know what books have been burnt from the past. Our take on the history of what's been, what our ancestors were up to is pretty limited. But it would astonish me if psilocybin mushrooms that just grow locally and they all over the place in the autumn here hadn't been utilized in a ceremonial manner. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't come across anything myself.
Because they used to grow in Leith Links. There was like a bowling green in Leith Links, and at this time of year or whatever, just November, whatever, you'd see all these people kind of wandering around trying to find stuff. And as a kid, you don't know. And then people say, magic mushrooms, but they literally used to grow in Leith Links when I was a kid. So yeah, it's inconceivable that people haven't had a little.
Yeah. They're so abundant. They're so abundant. Sure. It's inevitable that people in the past were using them.
And just one thing I've been thinking in terms of Shipibo. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Shipibo approach to kind of ayahuasca. Do you have a place in Peru that you want to give a shout out to, or is there anyone that
Yeah, well, Ni Rao Zobo, the retreat center in just outside Pucallpa, mm-hmm. in Peru. They have been. It's a family of healers. It's Maestra Inez and her 3 children, Jose, Laura, and Lila, and they are a beautiful family that have, the family of shamans, and they have a lot of experience. Inez I think she's 71 now. She's been working with ayahuasca since she was. She's been dieting plants and ayahuasca since something like 8 years old, 9 years old, from very early on, and same with her children have all they're in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they've been working with the medicine as well all their life. So they've got a huge amount of experience, and they're so loving and so compassionate. So I want to give a shout out to them.
How do you pronounce it? Sorry.
Well, I'll send you a link if you want to attach a link to it, and people, if they feel inspired to try connect with this family, then they can do. But yeah, like I highly recommend them. They've played a huge part in my healing journey. And yeah, the way the Shipibo work with the Icaros, it's something that you can't explain to people. The power of these Icaros and the wisdom and these healers and the connection to the plants. It's got to be experienced. So words can't really do it justice.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, as I say, trying to explain to people just what happens in those moments is, and I'm so blessed to have been able to experience that. And I guess that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here, is to say, providing the information and hopefully the pathway to greater information, greater understanding. And like you said already, it's not for everyone. And screening is a hugely important part of the process. So I mean, the screening, the experience itself, like you said before, setting and intention, and then the integration and the kind of the wraparound care around it. Just want to try and get it out to as many people as possible. So even if people don't want to do it, they have at least enough information to make a kind of an informed opinion about it.
Yeah. I think the more information that we can get out and to reshape the way that culture holds these medicines, because there's been, I guess, over the years a bit of a mind war going on, starting with the war on drugs. Was it Nixon that started the war on drugs?
It's like 50 years old, I think. Yeah.
And so there's been, unfortunately, all these beautiful plant medicines got thrown in that like basket, I suppose, where a psychological war was waged upon them, and they were pushed to the side, and all sorts of inaccurate reports were made about them. And so, yeah, it's time to raise your awareness, and hence I have a lot of gratitude for the work that you're doing. I saw the Thank You Plant Medicine memes and things coming up last year, and didn't really know much about it, but I've since learned a lot. And yeah, it's what the work that you guys are doing is really, really important. So I want to thank you for that.
No, it's been great. I mean, I've really enjoyed the discussion. It's been such a brilliant story, such a brilliant case study, and I'm unfortunate in many ways. But like you say, maybe we have to go through these kind of dark nights of the soul in order to really live our fullest kind of expressions of ourselves, I guess. If that doesn't sound too kind of like,
I honestly have no regrets. I wouldn't change any part of my story, any part of my journey. I think it's all been essential for my growth, and I take the lows and the highs, and I look back and see, so the most challenging experiences in my life have led me down to some of the most fulfilling experiences. So it's been a powerful journey, a turbulent journey, but one with rich rewards. And I just now feel like privileged to be in a position where hopefully I can now go and share what I've learned in my journey with others. I really want to welcome anyone who's looking for healing and they want to maybe consider something maybe a little bit more alternative to what the allopathic Western medicine is offering. So that there are really powerful healing modalities available to people outside or beyond your GP or beyond your specialist. And so anyone who feels a call, it'll be an honor to help them and share my wisdom with them.
Well, in the same way that I felt a kind of pull towards Spirit Quest in that particular moment, I'm definitely feeling a pull towards Scotland in this particular moment. So I really look forward to, in the next couple, maybe in the new year when things start to settle down a bit, I'm really looking forward to coming up and experiencing the Kambo with you.
Yeah. If you can just come up for a day, you can come up and stay for longer, and we can run through a few more of the protocols and let you, experience, because I really, what I'm working with here, what we're providing here, I really believe the synergistic effect between all the therapies is unlike anything else that's being offered, and I think it's you will feel a transformation in your body and mind from taking a bit of time with these therapies.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I mean one of the really positive outcomes of my own sort of work with plant medicines over the years has been a reconnection with Scotland, because I felt really disconnected from it growing up, because of my mixed parentage, because my mum was mixed race, so obviously black. I'm not obviously black, so I kind of experienced all the different sort of angles of it. So I wasn't sort of white enough in some cases, I wasn't black enough in others. People who didn't know about my background would be racist towards me, so I kind of felt this not towards me, but they would say racist things, wanting to kind of bring me into their kind of racist discussions and whatnot. So I felt a kind of real disconnect with Scotland for a long time. But part of my own personal sort of healing story is a real reconnection with Scotland, and so I haven't been for a long time, and so I'm actually getting really excited about the thought that the first time I've been back in ages will be to actually, come up to your place and do some work. It's really exciting to me. So
well, we're in a beautiful spot here. So it's the Highland Perthshire, so Scottish Highlands, and we're surrounded by like mountains, forests, and lochs, and it's just really. I similar to you. I fell in love with Scotland just the last few years. I came back here in 2016, and I haven't been away since I was sort of, moved down to England when I was 9 years old. So although I've been back here and there, it's only in the last few years after working with the plant medicine that I've been able to really connect with the nature that we have here, and I think we're blessed with so much beauty. So come up and you can dive deep into it.
It's done. It's a done thing. Awesome. So, mate, really appreciate the conversation, and look forward to getting out there. And there's going to be hopefully some great sort of follow-on conversations, and we can sort of start really push the conversation forward.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. It's been a real honour to connect with you. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll have many more connections from here onward.
So that's the end of the series of interviews with Rory Lamont. I think it's been an amazing journey. I mean, for someone who played at that level of elite sport, mere mortals can only imagine just what kind of intensity and pressure and great things as well that it brings. But there's a price to pay often, and it's a price that we don't often see, discussed at this kind of level. So really hats off to Rory for his bravery and his courage in coming out and sharing his story. Thank you, Plant Medicine, as ever. It's all about the safe and responsible use of plant medicine, psychedelics. So please subscribe. Let's get the message out there. Please do the likes. Please do everything we need to do on social media to really get this kind of front and center into the mainstream discussion, because it's only then that we can start to maybe get these substances rescheduled for research, and we can do more research and more people can have the benefits of these amazing healing medicines. So please subscribe. There's going to be more videos to come on the Thank You Plant Medicine channel, so please get behind it. Thanks for watching. Take care.